I'm Jeff Fischel. Welcome to ACC Soccer Weekly here on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Coming up, we will break down the Men's Conference Championship Final Four. Coming up, that's with Travis Clark from TopDrawerSoccer.com. But first, congrats to the Florida State Seminoles women's team. They beat Virginia Tech 1-0 in the championship match for their second ACC title in the past 3 years. The only goal came in the 36th minute. Dagny Brynjarsdottir, the junior midfielder, buried it in the back of the net. From there, the defense held up. The Noles head into the NCAA tourney, 18 wins, 1 loss, 3 ties. More on the women coming up. Now let's get to the men. The ACC semis tomorrow night, the first at 5:30. Virginia versus Notre Dame. The Cavs needed overtime to upset Wake Forest in the quarterfinals. UVA, by the way, won the regular season meeting with Notre Dame. Then the late matchup, Clemson, top seed Maryland. The Terps beat the Tigers when they met back in September. Okay, let's break down those semifinals. Happy to welcome back to ACC Soccer Weekly, Travis Clark, writer and editor for TopDrawerSoccer.com. Travis, thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely. So let's start with Virginia-Notre Dame. What should we be looking for in that one?
Well, that's going to be an interesting matchup. As you mentioned, Virginia beat Notre Dame a few weeks ago, 2-0 at Notre Dame, which was a very good performance by a young Cavaliers side. And so that's going to be one of the interesting things to look out for. You know, you have a experienced Notre Dame side that could start anywhere from 9 to 10 seniors or juniors against a Virginia team that's very good, but it is a little bit on the younger side. You know, freshman stars like Jordan Allen kind of leading the way in the offensive third. But, you know, to see how that balances out and impacts the knockouts game is going to be very intriguing. So, you know, if you're Notre Dame, you're going to want to play a lot better than you did last time, obviously. And a lot of that's going to start with Harrison Shipp. He's their senior. He's their go-to talisman. You know, he makes a lot of things happen, and you want to get him the ball early and often in order to break down the Virginia defense. If that happens, I think the Irish could rule the day.
Okay, that will make Irish fans happy. Now the second semi, Clemson, Maryland, the top seed in the championship. How do you see this one match up?
Well, it's a rematch from last year's semifinal when Clemson was a little bit more unheralded, unfancied side. But this year, you know, they've had a very good season in the ACC and out of the conference as well. But when I look at this matchup, I'm looking at a matchup of 2 players in particular. You have Clemson attacking midfielder Thomas McNamara. He's done a lot of good things in the final third for the Tigers. And then Dan Metzger, which is Maryland's defensive holding midfielder. He's a guy that could shut down McNamara and kind of limit Clemson in the final third. So if that happens, you'd favor Maryland, a team that has struggled a little bit defensively, but since losing to Wake Forest in that classic 4-3 shootout at Ludwig Field, their defense has improved significantly, conceding 2 goals in the last 5 games.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. Cavs, Irish, Tigers, Terps. Who wins the ACC title?
I'm going to please Notre Dame fans again and go with the Irish. You know, they've got the experience that you need to win at this stage of the season. And even though the tournament's going to be in Maryland, expect to see a lot of Terps fans out of this one. I think the Irish are going to grind it out.
All right, Travis, let's get back to the women for a minute. Proof that the ACC right now is the greatest soccer conference apparently ever. The 4 number 1 seeds in the NCAA championship, all ACC schools, Virginia, Virginia Tech, Florida State, North Carolina. First, are you surprised the selection committee did this? And second, how likely do you think it is that we'll see 4 ACC schools in the College Cup?
It's not a surprise at all. You know, it's the running stigma, as you said. You know, the ACC is the best women's soccer conference. You hear it from coaches. Recruits all want to play there. So to see this happen is not a surprise when you consider the quartet that had, you know, they all had great seasons. The one team, you know, maybe there's a little bit of East Coast bias because UCLA probably could have been in the top 4 as well. But I think all 4 are capable of making it. One of the big questions is going to be the health of Crystal Dunn. She missed Friday's ACC semifinal with a leg injury she picked up in training last week. So if she's not able to come back in time and be at full fitness for these games, then perhaps, you know, North Carolina slips up and becomes the one to lose out earlier on in the tournament before getting to carry. So getting to carry should be a huge incentive for them. So, you know, we'll see how it goes, but I wouldn't be surprised to see sort of those 4 make it there at the end.
How many women's teams do you think will make it? Tweet us at the ACCDN. Travis Clark from TopDrawerSoccer.com. Thanks again. Next week, we'll have an update on how the women's teams are doing in the NCAAs, and we'll preview the men's teams who will be going for a national title. That's ACC Soccer Weekly. I'm Jeff Fischel.